wait is over today. Fil-Am comedian Jo Koy is releasing his third Netflix special, In His Elements. In it, Jo Koy puts the spotlight on Manila and pays tribute to his Filipino roots. But before that, I caught up with Jo Koy a few days ago, and he shares the experience of performing in front of the Filipino crowd and how he's coping with the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown.
Actually, to be honest, I'm loving it. I've been on the road hard for about 27 years. And the last 14 have been grinding really hard to the point where I don't even know what day it is or what city I'm in. So, if there's anything good I can say from this pandemic, I love this time that I've been sharing with my family. I've never been with my son more than this. I think we're going on 90 days together. And I love it. I'm loving every single minute of it. I really, truly am. We've been doing more road trips together. We've been hanging out more and, learning how to cook.
Fantastic. Now, you were in the Philippines, obviously, a couple of months ago before the world changed. What was it like to come home and perform in front of Filipinos in the Philippines?
That was crazy. First of all, it was the MOA Arena, which was nuts. I think it was like 10,000 people. And it was just beautiful. I can't even explain. I was so humbled and, oh God, just the love from the people. It's just, I can't even explain it. Like there was a moment where I was just standing there and just like, is this really happening?
What was the difference you felt, between performing for crowds in the U.S. and in the Philippines?
None at all. I think, and I've said this before, there's something about social media. It has really meshed the two generations together. If this were maybe 25 years ago, I think there would probably be like a slight difference. Maybe the comedic timing would be off. Like maybe I have to change certain words. But I think through social media, I feel like it's just created this hybrid of Filipino cultures, Filipino Americans and Filipinos meshing together. And it's like this hybrid because they got it.
Well, that's the thing about your shows. I mean, there's a universality about them. And even though you joke a lot about Filipino culture and Asian culture, it cuts across all demographics. Why do you think that is?
I can't explain why, but there's just something where I kind of get away with it. Maybe because I make fun of myself maybe harder than how I make fun of other people. So maybe they laugh because they're like, okay, well, he makes fun of himself worse. So I got to laugh at this. I love the fact that we are in a time where we're, how do I say it? Streaming services are going worldwide. And I'm able to tell my story now and everyone gets to listen to it. So you can go to Australia and people are like, oh, my mom's just like your mom. I can go to New York and my mom's just like your mom. There's ethnicities, people from South Africa, there's people from the Dominican, like it's just they're relating, and it's because of something like Netflix, these platforms that are getting it out there and people listening to it and being able to go, my mom's just like your mom, and I love what you said. I love that. It's so cool.
Speaking of moms, your mom, your tita, your son, they all figure in your shows. They're a big part of your content. What do they make of that? How do they feel about it?
Oh, I think it's so much fun right now. Like everyone, it's just fun to be able to hear about your culture indirectly. You know what I mean? Like I always wanted to talk about being Filipino, but I didn't want to isolate the crowd. I wanted to be able to tell people I was Filipino, but indirectly doing it. And then also having people relate to it. So being able to tell my mom's story or talk about my son and them identifying it and also understanding, oh my God, he's Filipino. Wow, that's cool. So, I think everyone in the family just embraces it and loves it because they know that's what's happening with that right now. I'm an old cat, you know what I mean? I grew up in the 70s and 80s. So when I wanted to be a comic, just trying to find someone that was Filipino or even Asian doing stand-up was next to impossible. There was no internet. I didn't have YouTube. All I had were the 3 channels that were provided. You know what I mean? And it was hard for me to get inspired. So, I didn't really have anyone to latch onto. My first mainstream Pinoy that I gravitated towards was, of course, Manny Pacquiao. He was the first one to go to the masses. And what I mean by masses was like being able to go to work and just anybody in there, I could say Manny Pacquiao, and then they would go, "Oh yeah, that guy's amazing." The fighter, that's what I meant by that. Like he was the first one to be able to be like, what I mean? Everyone else had it, you know what I mean? But I felt like Filipinos, when Manny did that, it opened up the floodgates for me, and that's why when I got that Netflix special, it's just cool that kids like your kid can be like, yeah, if you want to know about Filipinos, there's a Netflix special, go watch it.
But it's not just him in this feature. Jo Koy brings along his fellow Fil-Am friend comedians to experience Filipino culture. Speaking to CNN Philippines, Jo Koy tells us it has always been his dream to do a Pinoy-centric special.
This was something I've been wanting to do since the beginning of my career. I always wanted to do a special show in the Philippines where it was variety driven. The concept that I pitched to Netflix was like, how cool would it be to bring Filipino Americans that never been to the Philippines for the first time and have them perform in front of Filipinos with cameramen that were Filipino, camera women that were Filipino, just everything was Filipino. The venue's Filipino, the audience is Filipino. Like, how cool would that be if we could do that? And not only that, but like in between each segment, we get to showcase a little bit about the Philippines, whether it be riding along in the jeepney or eating some food or, just highlighting our culture and our people just enough so people get to see what the Philippines is all about. And the reason why I did that is because, Netflix gave me an opportunity to shoot my third special. And I was like, well, let me do this. And the only reason why I did that is because my first special that I shot, which is Live from Seattle, if you've seen it, Live from Seattle is my first special on Netflix, and Netflix never, they didn't offer to do that. They said no to it 3 times. Not too many people know that Netflix said no to me like 4 or 5 times. And I'm not disrespecting Netflix in any way. I'm glad they said no because it made me work harder, and I knew how hard it was to get on Netflix. So that's why with this third special, I was like, I knew how hard it was to get in. And now that I have the door a little bit open, I'm going to bring some Filipinos in here with me. So that's what that was all about, getting these other Filipinos in through the door and giving them a chance to shine on Netflix the way I got to.
What was it like for them? Because I know for some of them, it was their first time to come home. And I know that you shot this before the pandemic, before George Floyd and all of that. So did bringing them to the Philippines take on a new or deeper meaning for you, given what's happening around the world right now?
Yeah, it's, one thing that was beautiful about going back to the Philippines is them really understanding where their parents came from. Because when you live in America, we're spoiled, you know what I mean? And sometimes it takes just going back and really seeing where your parents came from and what they gave up so that you could have, a better opportunity, I should say, right? And appreciation for your parents. Because man, when we went to the tenements, there was a point in time where we would have to like yell cut, and then we're all just kind of like, damn, man, like we got to do more. Like we got to raise money, we got to help, you know what I mean? We got to do more than just what we're doing right now. Like it opens up your eyes and you really appreciate everything. So that's what I hope I can show with this special. Show everybody, if there's an opportunity where you can help, then help. If there's an opportunity to uplift, then uplift, use your platform wisely. I've been blessed with an opportunity to talk to millions of people. So I want to be able to use that platform the right way.
Amazing. Please invite our viewers at CNN Philippines to watch your new show on Netflix and tell them who's on with you.
Oh my God. So it's going to be June 12th. And I brought everybody. I got my boy Illmind, he produces, he's produced for Drake. He produced for, he won a Grammy with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and he's Filipino, full Pinoy, Calbo, just like me. And you know, when I told him about this idea, I said, I want you to write the theme song to this, and I want to have Filipino rappers on it. And we got 3 young Filipino kids that emceed on his track that he made. It's the theme song is in Tagalog. I mean, how cool is that? You're gonna have people in Middle America watching a special with Tagalog verses. Like, that's so cool. Like, you know, I got my boy B-Boy Ronnie, who's you know, he's in Super Crew, Full Force. You know, he's a B-boy that I've known for almost 20 years. We opened for Snoop Dogg together a long time ago. So this is something we've been doing a long time. And I go, hey, I want you to open this show. And he went to the Tenement, and he got a bunch of, you know, B-boys to audition, and they opened the show. So we got B-boys from the Philippines opening up the show. And then I brought, of course, you know, my 3 guys, you know, Andrew Lopez, Joey Gia, Andrew Oroflo, and of course, Inigo. Inigo is going to be singing. So it's going to be fun. Everything about it is Filipino.
Jo Koy, thanks so much for being with us here on CNN Philippines. We really appreciate it.
I love you. Thank you so much.